I was 5 the night my father killed a man. That's what the old woman told me, anyway. Until I met her, that night existed for me only as a dream. In the dream, there is always a hallway. It smells like rain and instant curry. The floor is cheap linoleum, yellowed around the edges. My feet are bare and cold. At the far end, a man I don't know lies at the bottom of the stairs, his head at a wrong angle, eyes open at nothing. My mother is kneeling beside him, hand pressed to her mouth, shoulders shaking. My father stands between them and me in his shirt sleeves, breathing hard. His hair is messy. One sleeve is rolled up, the other still down. There is something in his hand. A dark, heavy shape. He looks at me over his shoulder. "Go back to your room, Haru," he says. There's nothing to see. Behind him, the hallway walls are splashed with something that looks, in the dream, like paint. Red paint. I turn to run. The floor stretches under my feet, growing longer and longer. I never make it to my room. I always wake up before I reach the door. By the time I was 28, the dream was just another recurring glitch in the background of my life. I was back in my hometown for the first time in years, working remotely from my mother's small apartment while she recovered from hip surgery. Tokyo had spat me out after a mid-level burnout, the kind HR calls stress leave until they don't renew your contract. The town hadn't changed much. The shopping street had more shutters, the kids seemed fewer, the convenience store was new, but the concrete in the air smelled the same: soy sauce, exhaust, late summer humidity. I didn't remember living here long as a child. Just fragments. A playground. A corner vending machine. A river that looked bigger in my memory than in real life. And the dream, of course. That had followed me everywhere. One evening, after another day of pretending to work while actually watching my mother struggle not to ask about my job, I went out for a walk to get away from both of us. The sun had gone down. The air was still heavy and warm. Neon from the pachinko parlor pulsed red and orange at the end of the street. Most of the old shopping arcade was dark, metal shutters down, faded posters peeling. All except one shop. Its Norin, a deep indigo curtain, hung half open over the entrance. Light spilled out warm and yellow onto the cracked pavement. The sign above the door read, in flaking gold paint, "Sazanamidu." I didn't remember it. That struck me as odd, because the store looked like it had been there forever. The display window showed glass jars filled with colorful candy, old toys in sun-faded boxes, wind-up tin robots, tiny ceramic animals. A handwritten sign promised dagashi, cheap sweets, 10 yen, 30 yen, 50 yen. I should have walked past. Adults in their late 20s don't go into dagashi shops alone at night. But something about the warm light and the faint smell of sugar and dust pulled at me. Before I knew it, I was sliding the door aside and bowing slightly into the dim interior. A bell chimed. A voice croaked. "Welcome." The shop was deeper than it looked from the street. Shelves lined the walls, crowded with snacks, toys, and things I couldn't name. The air smelled of old paper, sunbae, and incense that had burned out hours ago. Behind a low wooden counter sat a small, bent old woman in a faded kimono. Her hair was a cloud of white pinned back with a simple comb. Her eyes were sharp black beads in a web of wrinkles. She smiled when she saw me. "You've gotten big," she said. I laughed awkwardly. "First time here, I think," I said. "I didn't grow up around." "You were too small to reach the counter," she said, as if I hadn't spoken. "Always had to jump to see the jars. You like the cola-flavored gum." A cold finger traced the back of my neck. "How do you know that?" I asked. She chuckled like a kettle. "A shopkeeper remembers her regulars," she said. "Even if the regulars don't remember her." She gestured with a bony hand. "Go on," she said. "Have a look. First visit is on the house." I drifted between the shelves, touching nothing. There were brands I hadn't seen since elementary school. Ramen bottles with glass marbles. Powdery UFO-shaped candies in plastic strips. sketchy chocolate cigarettes, plastic bags with cheap toys and even cheaper prizes. The further back I went, the older the stock seemed. Boxes yellowed at the corners. Logos from companies that no longer existed. Price tags that hadn't been updated since before the consumption tax. Near the back wall, a small shelf held things that weren't candy or toys. A cracked pocket mirror. A small, cloudy marble. A key on a plastic tag with no number. An old, white plastic whistle on a dirty string. "Those aren't for children," the old woman said behind me. I hadn't heard her move, but she was suddenly at my shoulder, surprisingly close for someone her size. "Then what are they?" I asked. "Lost and found," she said. "Things that want to go back to their owners. Or to someone who remembers them." I picked up the marble. It was heavier than it looked. The glass was cloudy, but inside, faintly, a swirl of blue and green twisted like frozen smoke. My chest tightened. "I know this," I said before I could stop myself. The old woman murmured. "You dropped it. A long time ago. In a hallway with very bad lighting." The hallway from my dream flashed in my mind. Bare feet. Cold linoleum. Something sticky under my toes. I put the marble down quickly. "Wrong person," I said. My voice came out thinner than I liked. She hummed. "Maybe," she said. "Or maybe you just haven't claimed that part of yourself yet." She shuffled back to the counter with the unsteady grace of someone who has been old for so long that she has forgotten how to be anything else. At the door, I hesitated. "Have we really met before?" I asked. She smiled. "Many times," she said. "You were 5 the last time. You cried when your cola gum fell on the floor. Your mother scolded you for making noise." My skin prickled. "My mother doesn't like sweets," I said. "She would never take me to a place like this." "Oh, she didn't," the old woman said. "You came with your father." The bell tinkled again as I stepped out into the night. The air felt thicker. The dream of the hallway crawled up from wherever it hid and pressed against the back of my eyes. In the dream, my father never looked like the man I knew. In the dream, his eyes were colder. When I got back to my mother's apartment, she was asleep. I watched her for a long time, listening to the shallow rise and fall of her breath. Her face in sleep looked older than I remembered. Smaller. As if she had shrunk down to fit the frame of her memories. "Did we live near a shop called Sazanami-do?" I asked her the next morning, over miso soup and rice. She froze with the chopsticks halfway to her mouth. The silence lasted only a fraction of a second. Then she smiled. "I don't remember," she said lightly. "There were a lot of little shops back then." "Why?" "No reason," I said. I told myself not to go back. So of course I went back 2 nights later. The arcade was darker. More shutters down, or maybe I was just noticing them now. Sazanami-do was still lit, its Norn stirring in a breeze I couldn't feel. Inside, the old woman looked up and smiled as if she had been expecting exactly this timing. "Welcome home," she said. "It's not my home," I said automatically. "If you dream about it that often, it might as well be," she replied. I hadn't told her about the dream. "What do you mean?" I asked, my throat dry. She nodded at my chest. "You smell like a bad memory that wants to be aired out," she said. "Sit." She poured tea without asking what I wanted. The cup was chipped but clean. The tea smelled faintly of roasted barley. "You can keep forgetting," she said as I sat on the low stool on the customer side of the counter. "That's one way. You're old enough now that no one will force you to remember. Or you can look." She slid something across the wood toward me. A small, plastic key. The kind that comes with a child's toy lockbox. Its tag was cracked and yellowed. Whatever number had once been written there had faded to nothing. I stared at it. My heart thumped. "This was yours," she said. "You used to wear it around your neck." You said it would open Papa's secret treasure. The word Papa felt strange in my adult mouth. I had called my father Otusan as long as I could remember. Where did you get that? I asked. From the old apartment building, she said. After they tore it down. I blinked. What old building? I asked, even though I knew. The one by the river, she said. Where you lived before. Where the stairs were too steep and the railing too low. I saw it then, as clearly as if I were standing in front of it. 4 stories of gray concrete. An external staircase. Mailboxes by the entrance with names half scratched off. The smell of wet bicycles and boiled cabbage. A chill went through me. How do you know that? I whispered. I used to live on the first floor, she said. Everyone came through my hallway. She pushed the key closer. Take it, she said. If it's not yours, nothing will happen. If it is, perhaps you'll remember where it fits. My hand shook as I reached out. The plastic was smooth and cold against my palm. The moment I touched it, the shop fell away. I was small. That was the first thing. The counter, the shelves, the entire world had grown tall and far. My hand, my real hand, the adult one, was gone. In its place was a chubby, smaller hand, fingers sticky with something sweet. A plastic key lay in my palm on a string. I could feel the weight of it on my neck. I was standing in a hallway that smelled like rain and instant curry. The linoleum under my bare feet was cold. Somewhere, a television murmured. Don't run, my mother's voice called from inside our door. There are stairs. I didn't listen. I never had. I toddled toward the stairwell, feet slapping on the floor. Halfway down the hall, a man's voice muttered. I'm begging you. I stopped. The voice came from the landing. I crept closer, curiosity heavier than fear. The stairwell light flickered. At the top of the stairs, my father stood in his shirt sleeves. His back was to me. At the bottom of the stairs, in the shadow, a man in a cheap suit clung to the railing with one hand. His other hand was raised as if to protect his face. My father's voice was low and tight. You came to our door, he said. You frightened my wife. You frightened my son. I'm sorry, the man said. I just need a little more time. You had time, my father said. You wasted it. You're not bringing that mess into my house again. He took a step down. The man backed away, heel hanging over the edge of the bottom step. You're a decent guy, the man babbled. I know you are. Your boss, he said you'd understand. My father's hand clenched. Something in his posture changed. It was like watching a switch flip. He reached for the umbrella stand by the door. It was a heavy metal thing, dented from years of use. Daddy? I said. My voice was small. Too loud in a tight space. My father flinched and looked back. For a moment, his eyes met mine. They were not the eyes I knew. Not warm. Not joking. Flat. Hard. Go back to your room, Haru, he said. Now. The man at the bottom of the stairs saw me too. He turned his head, face pale and sweaty. Kid, he gasped. Tell your dad I'll pay. Okay? I'll pay. I just need. My father moved. There was a sound like a watermelon hitting concrete. The stairs shook. Red sprayed up the wall. The umbrella stand clanged. My mother screamed from inside the apartment. Shinji. What are you? The man's body tumbled the rest of the way down. His head hit the landing with a dull final sound. He didn't move again. The umbrella stand rolled slowly to a stop near my bare feet, leaving a smear on the linoleum. My father stood over the body, breathing hard. His shirt was spattered. His face was calm. Too calm. He turned to me. I knew, even at 5, that he had done something that could not be undone. Go inside, he said quietly. There's nothing to see. My mother appeared in the doorway, hand over her mouth. Her eyes were huge. She looked from my father to the man on the floor and back. Shinji, she whispered. What did you do? He slipped, my father said. His voice was steady. He slipped down the stairs. That's what happened. Do you understand? My mother shook her head, tears spilling over. There's blood everywhere, she said. That's not, we have to call. He crossed the distance between them in 2 steps and grabbed her shoulders. He slipped, he repeated. Do you understand? Our son is here. Do you want him to grow up visiting me in prison? Do you want them to take him away from you? I watched from the staircase. The key around my neck felt suddenly very heavy. Go back to your room, Haru, my father said again, louder. Take your toy. Don't come out until I say it's okay. His eyes bored into mine. Forget this, he said. This is not your memory. The world blurred. The shop snapped back into focus. I was sitting on the stool, plastic key digging into my palm, breath coming fast. The old woman watched me over the rim of her teacup. You remembered something, she said. It wasn't a question. How did you do that? I gasped. She tilted her head. I didn't, she said calmly. You did. I only gave you the handle. The man, I said. The one at the bottom of the stairs. The debt collector. He wasn't a debt collector, she said. He was my son. The floor seemed to drop. Your son, I repeated. She nodded. He gambled, she said. Borrowed money from the wrong people. I told him not to. He said he would fix it by getting a good job at some company. Said his boss was a decent man. He came home one night with a bruise on his cheek and said someone in a nice shirt had grabbed him by the collar and told him he belonged to the company now. Her mouth tightened. They sent him to collect from others, she said. Young men like him. Families. People who couldn't pay. She took a slow breath. I told him it would catch up, she said. I told him if he went to that building near the river one more time, something bad would happen. She looked at me. You live there, she said. With your parents. On the 3rd floor. My father's face flashed in my mind, overlapped with the flat-eyed man on the stairs. You're saying my father killed him, she said. Yes. With the umbrella stand. I found the stand when they tore the building down. It still had a crack from where his skull stopped it. My stomach lurched. How do you know it was him? I asked, even though I had just seen it. She held my gaze. Because I was there, she said. At the bottom of the stairs. I heard the argument. I saw him fall. I saw your father standing there with the stand in his hand, and I saw you watching from the top. The dream slid into place. Not a dream. A memory. You were the neighbor, I whispered. The one who found the body. She nodded. I told the police he slipped, she said. Like your father asked. Why? I demanded. Why would you? Because I saw your mother holding you, she snapped. Her voice cracked with a sudden, raw anger that made the store seem smaller. I saw your father kneel on that filthy floor and bow until his head touched the blood. He begged me. He said he'd cut ties with that world. He said he'd move you somewhere safe. He said if his son saw him taken away, it would break him. Her hands shook. I had already lost one son, she said. I thought, one confession would not bring him back, but it would destroy another child's life. I chose cowardice. I told the police it was an accident. They believed me. I was the grieving mother, after all. She laughed bitterly. Funny, isn't it, she said. How everyone wants to believe the version where nothing evil is done, only mistakes. The candy jars on the shelf glittered in the dim light. You could have told someone later, I said. And say what? She asked sharply. I lied earlier. they would have shrugged and said it was too late. She looked at me with an intensity that made me want to crawl out of my skin. "But you," she said. "You are not too late. You are a living witness." "To what?" I asked. "Both of them are dead now. My father died 3 years ago. Stroke. My mother got a letter, that's all. What does it change?" Her expression softened for the first time since she had said the word son. "It changes you," she said. "You were built on that night. On a lie you were forced to carry before you even learned how to write your own name. You don't remember it, but your bones do. That's why you are the way you are." "The way I am?" I repeated. "Careful," she said. "Holding yourself back. Never letting anger show, because you've seen what it can do. Always waiting for something bad to happen when things go well. You think that's personality? It's architecture." Her words trembled through me. "You run from jobs before they can fire you," she continued. "You apologize for things that are not your fault. You dream of red paint and say, it's just a dream, because no one around you remembers differently." "You've been watching me for 2 days," I snapped. "You don't know me that well." She raised an eyebrow. "I've been watching you since you were 5, she said. "When I saw you come in here the other night, it was like seeing a ghost finally remember to cast a shadow." She slid the plastic key back into my hand. "That memory was the first step," she said. "If you want the rest, you know where the door is." I left, stumbling. On the way home, the world felt wrong. The slope of the sidewalk. The angle of the streetlights. The sound of my own footsteps. At my mother's apartment, I stood in the doorway for a long time, watching her as she peeled cucumbers at the sink. "Did Dad ever hurt anyone?" I asked. She flinched. "Just a little." "No," she said quickly. He had a temper sometimes, but he wasn't that kind of person." I thought of the umbrella stand. Of his calm voice. He slipped. "I went to a shop today," I said. "The owner said we lived in a building by the river." She set the knife down too fast. It clattered. "Why would you talk to strangers about our family?" she snapped. "Because you don't," I said before I could stop myself. Our eyes met. The air between us felt like the inside of sazanami dew, thick with sugar and old smoke. "We moved a lot when you were little," she said. "What does it matter where we lived? It's all gone now." "Do you remember the stairs?" I asked. "The night a man fell?" Her face went white. "How do you?" She stopped. Then, with visible effort, she forced her shoulders to relax. "You had a fever once," she said. "You hallucinated. You said strange things. The doctor told us not to worry." She wiped her hands on a towel. "That was a long time ago," she said. "You should focus on your future, Haru. Not on things that never really happened." Her voice shook on "never really happened." I didn't push. Not then. But I felt the lie like a pebble in my shoe with every step I took after that. I went back to Sazanami-do 4 more times. Each time, the old woman had something waiting for me. The second visit, it was the cloudy marble. The memory it opened was smaller, but sharp. Me, crouched in that same hallway, rolling the marble across the floor to watch it wobble on the uneven linoleum until it reached the stair and disappeared. A thud. A woman from the second floor shouting at me. "Don't play near the stairs. Do you want to fall?" My mother's hand yanking me back. Her fear, disproportionate. The third visit, it was a packet of cola-flavored gum, the exact cheap kind I hadn't seen since childhood. The smell when I opened it was like a punch. Suddenly I was sitting on the apartment floor, television murmuring, chewing the gum while voices hissed behind the slightly open bedroom door. "My mother, if you tell anyone, they'll take him away." My father, "It was an accident." Her, "You pushed him." Him, he lunged. I defended myself. "I didn't mean." The click of the plastic key in my small hands as I played with it, not understanding why the adults were using my name in their argument. The fourth visit, it was the cracked pocket mirror. I found this in the old building's garbage room after they cleared out the last tenants, the old woman said. Thought it was junk. Then I saw your face in it when you walked in here. I held it. The glass was spiderwebbed at one corner, but my reflection swam up through the cracks. I was 5 again. Standing in front of the bathroom mirror in the old apartment. My mother behind me, brushing my hair. Tell me what you saw, she whispered. My small mouth was sticky with cola gum. Daddy hit the man, I said. With the umbrella stand. Her hand trembled. No, she said quickly. He slipped. That's the story, Haru. He slipped. People fall downstairs all the time. Sometimes they die. It's very sad, but it happens. That's not what happened, I said with a child's bluntness. Daddy. She spun me around. Her hands gripped my shoulders so hard it hurt. Tears streamed down her face. If you say that, she hissed, they'll take Daddy away. They'll take you away. Do you want that? My eyes stung. I shook my head. Then forget it, she said. Forget what you saw. If anyone asks, you tell them he slipped. Say it. He slipped, I whispered. Again. He slipped, I said. She hugged me so tight I could barely breathe. I'm sorry, she sobbed into my hair. I'm so sorry. Please forget. My father watched from the doorway, expression unreadable. Later, someone, maybe my father, maybe my mother, maybe both, took the plastic key from my neck and threw it in the trash. It's just a toy, my mother told me when I cried. You have plenty of other toys. The fifth visit, the old woman had nothing on the counter. You remember enough now, she said. Time for the last part. My stomach nodded. I already know what happened, I said. My father killed your son. You lied to protect him. My mother lied to protect me. He died anyway. There's nothing else to. There's the part you haven't looked at, she said quietly. She reached under the counter and placed something between us. A small, metal umbrella stand. It was dented. A crack ran along one side. A rust-colored stain marked the bottom edge. You kept that, I whispered. I told myself I wanted to throw it away, she said. But I never did. The sight of it made my skin crawl. I don't need to touch that, I said. I remember. She shook her head. You remember watching, she said. You don't remember participating. I didn't, I started. The word stuck. Go on, she said. Hold it. My fingers closed around the cold metal. The world spun. We are back in the hallway. But this time, the scene is slightly different. My 5-year-old self crouches by the umbrella stand, frowning. The stand is almost as tall as my chest. I am angry because the toy car I was playing with fell over. The man in the cheap suit stands on the landing, talking too loud. My mother is inside, trying to close the door, but the man's foot is in the way. My father is coming up the stairs, shoulders tight. They are shouting. The words blur. I focus on the umbrella stand. I want to move it. I grab the edge and pull. It scrapes across the floor, clangs against the bottom step. Hey, my father snaps. Haru, stop that. He reaches down, grabbing the handle with one hand and my wrist with the other. The motion unbalances me. For a split second, my weight and his and the stands all lean the same way. Toward the man. The man flinches. His foot slips off the edge of the step. Everything happens too fast and too slow. The umbrella stand swings. My father lets go of my wrist to catch it. It slams into the side of the man's head. He falls. Blood sprays. My small hands are empty. I stare at them. The adult me understands in an instant what the child me cannot. I helped. I didn't intend to. I didn't know what would happen, but the weight and angle and timing of my tug made the swing what it was. If I hadn't grabbed the stand, if I hadn't pulled, maybe my father would still have hit him. Maybe not. The scene pauses, frozen, like the world is holding its breath. Behind my child self, at the top of the stairs, I see movement. A shadow. Not my mother. Not my father. Someone else. Standing in the doorway where no one stood in my earlier memories. He is older. My age now. His face is mine. He looks down at the scene with horror. The child me turns, sensing something. Our eyes meet. I am looking at myself. You came back, the child me whispers. The spell breaks. The adult me stumbles backward, out of the stairwell, out of the hallway, out of the old building, through years and layers and lies. I was on the shop floor, sprawled on my back, heart pounding like it wanted to escape. The umbrella stand lay beside me. The old woman loomed above, her expression unreadable. You saw it, she said. My throat hurt. I helped, I croaked. I tugged it. I made it worse. You were 5, she said. My voice broke. Guilt flooded me, thick and suffocating. All the apologies I had made in my life suddenly had a center. I'm sorry, I whispered. I'm so sorry. For a moment, I wasn't sure who I was apologizing to. To her dead son. To my dead father. To the small boy in the hallway. To myself. The old woman sighed. I knew there was a shadow there, she said. I didn't know what shape it was. I thought maybe your father made you watch. Or maybe you called someone. I didn't imagine your hand on the stand. Her eyes softened. You understand, don't you, she said. That you are not guilty the way he was. Tears burned my eyes. My hand was on it, I said. So was his, she replied. So were mine. So were all the people who lent my son money, who laughed when he said he wanted out, who told him this was just how adults live. Weight is complicated. It falls through families. She helped me sit up. You came back, she said. That's what matters. I didn't come back, I said. You pulled me. No, she said. I opened the door. You walked. She folded her hands. Now you have a choice, she said. You can walk back out of here and pretend this was a strange dream. You can carry the knowledge alone until it rots you from the inside. Or, I asked. Or you can go all the way back, she said simply. A chill slid down my spine. What does that mean? I asked. She looked toward the back of the shop. A Norn I hadn't noticed before hung there, dark and heavy, inked with a pattern of waves and stairs. You've seen pieces of that night, she said. From your angle. From mine. From your mother's, in echoes. But time is sticky where blood is spilled and stories are bent. If you step through there with what you know, you might fix your timeline. Fix it how? I whispered. You might talk instead of staying silent, she said. You might tell the truth to someone who can change something. Or you might simply say to your 5-year-old self, it is not your fault, loud enough that it actually sticks. The Norn rippled as if touched by wind from the other side. What happens to me? I asked. If you go back, she said. Maybe you return here with a lighter spine. Maybe you don't return here at all, because the version of you who needs this shop never grows the same way. And if I don't go? I said. She smiled sadly. Then you keep wandering into other people's rooms asking them if they're going home, she said. Not as a ghost. As a man who doesn't know why no place feels right. Silence settled on us like dust. In my mind, I heard a child's voice. Not the boy in the yellow cap from the apartment story. My own. Daddy hit the man, it said. With the umbrella stand. I thought of my mother, begging me to forget. Of my father, bowing on the bloody floor. Of the old woman, lying to the police, carrying that lie longer than my entire life. Of my own habit of apologizing for things I didn't do, while burying the things I did. I stood. My legs shook. The Norrin at the back of the shop waited, dark and heavy. Is it really the past? I asked. Or just my head? She shrugged. What's the difference, if it changes how you live, she said. We walk backward through our minds every day. This is just a more direct route. I laughed weakly. That sounds like something a demon would say, I muttered. She smiled, showing very small, very even teeth. If I were a demon, I'd offer you forgetfulness, she said. Not memory. Touché. I walked to the Norrin. Up close, I could see the pattern clearly. Waves at the bottom. A staircase winding upward. At the top, a small, childlike figure, hand on the rail. The cloth smelled faintly of old incense and rain. Last chance to turn around, the old woman called. I put my hand on the fabric. It was cool. Soft. Tell my son anything you like, she added. He probably won't hear you. But you might. I took a breath. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was running from the dream. I was walking toward it. Thank you, I said. To me, she asked. To whoever's still waiting in that hallway, I said. Then I pushed the Norrin aside and stepped through. For a dizzy, breathless moment, there was nothing. No floor. No shelves. No tea. Just the smell of instant curry and rain. The sound of a television murmuring somewhere far away. The feeling of cold linoleum under my bare feet. And from down the hall, a voice I knew better than my own. Go back to your room, Haru. There's nothing to see. This time, I didn't obey. I walked toward the stairs.